Well, it's always a pleasure to do a talk after Vitalik and seeing, a crowd of people leaving the room. This is good for my ego. Thank you, but thank you for those who are staying. I'll try to be as entertaining as as he was. Thank you. So my name is Julien Niset. I'm one of the three co-founders at Argent, and today I will be talking about how we can bring 1 billion users to Ethereum with account abstraction. And I like this title because it's really, really cliche. I mean, we keep talking about these 1 billion users. After all these years, it's kind of become a meme. But I think it also represents some form of mass adoption in our collective minds. But the reality is that if we look at numbers objectively, we are very, very far from these billion users. If you look at the amount of daily active users in popular DeFi application, we see that we barely make like 3,000 or 4,000 for something like like Aave. If we extend our view a little bit more and look at some popular blockchain of the Ethereum ecosystem, we see that Ethereum L1 or Arbitrum, they make like 400,000, 500,000 daily active users. Lately, Base has been on a good roll, so they have something like 1 million, daily active users. It's not bad for, in Web3, but we're still very, very far from these billion users that we keep talking about. And if we broaden our view even a bit more and start to look outside of the Ethereum ecosystem, we can actually notice that something is happening surprisingly on Ton. On Ton, there is a tap-to-earn game called Hamster Combat that has 30 million daily active users. This is not a blockchain. This is just one single game. And I mean, Hamster Combat is crazy at any metric that you look at. But why I personally find fascinating about Hamster Combat is actually the fact that it went from 0 to 250 million users in 3 months. We've been building the Ethereum ecosystem for 10 years, and yet a single game on Tom is reaching 250 million users in 3 months. And the thing is, Hamster Combat is not even unique. On the Ton ecosystem, there are actually other games that have crazy metric. So the question is, what's the secret? Is Ton such an amazing blockchain that millions of users are rushing to use it? I personally believe this is not the reason. What I think the secret is of this amazing success is actually Telegram. And when you think of it, Telegram is the perfect distribution channel. It's one of the largest social networks, right, with 950 million users. We keep talking about bringing 1 billion users to Ethereum. There you go. That's our billion. If we could convert every single Telegram user to an Ethereum user, we have a billion user. Because it's a social network, it really contains social features and viral features baked in. You can have daily tasks, you can have messaging, you can have bots, you can have group chat, and so on. And I think this virality, this social element, is exactly why Hamster Combat went from 0 to 250 million in 3 months. Today, the Telegram ecosystem is mostly focusing on casual gaming. And again, I think it's a great segue to crypto, right? Casual games on mobile, they're fun, and that's a good way to actually do something in crypto without even realizing it. Telegram is surprisingly very crypto-friendly. I think it really has a crypto-friendly DNA, and I will extend on that in a few minutes. And as we've seen it already at the Web3 ecosystem, we have games built on what's called these Telegram mini apps on the Ton ecosystem. And there's actually some form of DeFi ecosystem, mostly on Solana, with trading bots that average something like $60 million daily. So there's actually already an existing Web3 ecosystem in Telegram. And these are smaller details, but it's actually relatively simple to build on Telegram, right? These bots and these Telegram mini apps, they're relatively simple to build. And finally, something that I found interesting and I think we should leverage more, it's kind of obvious, but on Telegram, every single user is logged in. And as we will see, this is something that I think we can leverage. So I mentioned Telegram bots and Telegram mini apps. I'm sure most of you know what they are. But just a quick recap, a Telegram bot is actually a special type of username that can automate his reply. So basically, it's a server that's behind a Telegram username. And that means you can interact with that bot. You can send him private messages, so the bot can be in a group chat. And the bot will automate the reply with text, video, image, custom keyboards, and so on. They've been around since 2015, so nothing new. But something that appeared recently is the fact that they can launch what's called Telegram mini apps. So Telegram mini apps, they're basically full-fledged web application that you build in JavaScript, CSS, HTML. They have access to some cool technical feature to the Telegram API. They can leverage biometrics and the secure enclave, and they can also use the Telegram cloud storage. And what's interesting is that these Telegram mini apps, they've been available since 2023, so it's quite recent, and they've been really built by Telegram for the Web3 ecosystem. Telegram mini apps is actually part of Telegram's strategy to bring their users from Telegram to the Ton ecosystem. And of course, they've been fueling the growth of Ton. So the question is, can we bring these 1 billion users to Ethereum instead of Ton? And I believe the answer is yes. I do believe we can build a perfect, invisible, and non-custodial wallet on Ethereum to bring these 1 billion users. And the reason why I think the answer is yes is because we have two cards that we can play and that Ton might not have. The first one is that now we have layer 2s that scale. Right, Starknet, for example, that was mentioned, achieved like almost 1,000 transactions per second a couple of weeks ago. And we know they can 2x or 3x that when they introduce something called Cairo native. So we now have layer 2s that can actually support the load of bringing 1 billion users on chain. And the second thing that we have, and that's quite unique and that we should leverage, is actually account abstraction. For example, at Argent, we're building on Starknet, which has native account abstraction, and we've been using in production things like session keys that people talk about. We have social recovery, fraud monitoring, all these things that are already in production and being used by a lot of users. And so at Argent, we really want to believe that we should, as part of the Ethereum ecosystem, try to tap on that amazing opportunity. And so to do that, we are actually building two things. On the one side, we're building a wallet, and a wallet is made of a Telegram mini app and a bot. And then we are also building an SDK for developers, because in the end, I think these users will come through Telegram mini apps and, for example, simple and casual games. And so we've built a wallet on Telegram, so that's a Telegram mini app. There's a few things that I think are quite unique about that wallet. The first one is that there's no onboarding required. I mean, that may seem like nothing, but it means that every single user on Telegram already has the wallet. You don't need to download any software. You don't need to install anything. If you're a Telegram user, you already have access to the wallet. That's really cool. And because you are logged into Telegram, as a wallet, we can even send you notification. I mean, we know who you are. We don't need to ask you for an email or don't need to ask you for a phone number. We can actually communicate and interact with you, send a notification because you're already logged in. The wallet can use biometric and under the hood secure enclave, so I think that's quite nice. And of course, it has the typical Argent model where you have a cosigner that will cosign transaction, and that enables us to bring, as I mentioned, session keys, social recovery, fraud monitoring, and so on. So it's a full-fledged Argent wallet, smart account with all the great features of account abstraction, but it comes as a simple Telegram mini app. But there's actually two things that I find unique about our wallet is the fact that it can send tokens to any user on Telegram, even if they don't have a wallet. And I will explain how that works in a second. And also because we've integrated the paymaster, you can send tokens and pay transaction fees in any token. What that means is that, for example, using this wallet, you could send $10 to a friend that's on Telegram. It doesn't know what blockchain is. He's never been on blockchain. You send him 10 USDC. In one click, he has a Web3 funded wallet that he can directly use to do something else. Because he can pay the transaction fees in USDC, he can send some of these USDC to someone else. And so you can really bring a user from nothing to having a funded, non-custodial Web3 wallet in one click. And there's 1 billion people that actually can do that today. And I think that's pretty cool. So I mentioned this capability of sending funds to someone else that doesn't have a wallet. It's actually a protocol that we've launched on Starknet recently, so I won't get into too much details, but the idea is quite simple, is that basically if you want to send funds to a Telegram handle that doesn't have a wallet, what you do is that your client will generate a key pair locally, then you deploy an escrow account that is controlled by the private key that you just generated locally. You deposit the token on that escrow account, plus a little bit to cover transaction fee, and then you share the private key in a private channel to that person. And so in the context of Telegram, you share the private key as a direct link that you send, in the chat that you have with the user. And so your friend sees a message coming from you, you're one of his friends, and you say, hey, I've sent you, 10 USDC, click on that link. He clicks on the link. Because there's no onboarding required, he automatically has a wallet. He gets the token because he has the private key, so he can actually make a transaction that transfers the fund from the escrow account to the wallet that you just created counterfactually. So your friend really went from not knowing about Web3 to having a Web3 wallet with token that he can use directly. I mean, we're not getting into the details there, but again, it's the normal Argent model. I will skip that. So we have a Telegram mini app wallet. That's really cool. We also have a bot that's associated to the wallet. And the goal of the bot, I would say, is really to tap on and leverage the virality of Telegram. And so the bot can send notification to user. For example, you receive token, the bot can send you a message, say, hey, you've received 10 USDC from your friend Frank. You can use the bot in a group chat, and that's something that I will try to demo at the end of this talk if I have the time. So that means that if the bot is added to any group chat, you can actually set @ArgentBot send 5-star to @Vitalik. And automatically this will trigger the wallet to open, you confirm, and that's it, the token has sent to Vitalik, even if Vitalik doesn't have a wallet yet, which I think is very, very cool. And finally, the last thing that we've built, I mentioned, is that we are building an SDK. And really the goal of our SDK is to allow Telegram mini apps to really build Web3 experience with an invisible wallet. I think that's something that was mentioned in the panel earlier, and I will show you how we do that. But the goal is really to allow people to build games as if it was Web 2. And typically on Web 2, what you do is that you go to an application, you ask to connect an account, sometimes it's your Google account, you approve one, and then after that for a month, you don't need to see this account again, you can play the game because you are identified. And so we can really reproduce that very same experience, but in Web 3. And so how does that work? We basically heavily leverage session keys. Session keys have been mentioned a few times today, but for those of you that don't know what session keys are, the idea of a session key is that a dApp can generate a key locally and basically ask you to authorize that key to do transaction on your account under certain conditions. And these conditions can be enforced on-chain. So basically, a dApp will say, I'm generating a key locally. I want this key to be valid for a month and being able to call that method on that contract. As a user, you see this request, you approve, and from that point on, the dApp can use the key and make as many transactions as it wants, provided that it remains within the security framework that you've authorized. So together with session keys, our SDK also integrate a paymaster, so that means that the dApp can choose to sponsor transactions and so on. And so in terms of model, this is the flow that I've explained. So in the Argent model, you have a smart account, in this case, which is on Starknet. And so the dApp will generate a key locally, ask you to basically approve this session key. Because we have a cosigner, the request will be forwarded with a cosigner that can do extra fraud monitoring. If you agree, this will send back the signature or the signed token to the dApp. And then the dApp, from that point on, can basically make transactions on-chain directly on your account without going through the wallet. And so this is actually the recording of a game that will soon launch on Starknet called Gladiapet. Again, it's a tap-to-earn game, but I want you to see the onboarding. So you come to the game. Let's see if the video will launch. Yes. So you see a connect your wallet. What does it do? It basically opens your wallet with the request for confirmation, so it can tell you what this session key wants to do. As a user, you can say yes. You back into the game. It took you literally 2 seconds, and from that point on, you can actually play this Web3 game without seeing the wallet for up to a month. And so you can really have a wallet-less experience on this mini game, on this game, even though this is a pure Web3 and it's connected to your full non-custodial wallet. So you already have a few games that are launching, which I think is very cool. And to accelerate that, we are actually starting an accelerator program when we are in the process of selecting 20 teams. These teams will be funded 25K, and for 7 weeks, we'll basically mentor them, help them develop their concept, and try to go to a point where they can deploy and go to market. And at the end of the program, they can request up to $1 million to basically continue the development of their dApp. So this is not about being an hackathon. It's really about creating an ecosystem of mini dApps that rely on the wallet and the SDK that we have created. So I hope I managed to convince you that we have built an invisible non-custodial wallet on a layer 2 that scale, and I think that's very important. And so now is really the time to finally onboard these billion users from Telegram to Ethereum. And I think there's no great talk without a funny demo, so let's give it a try. If you scan this QR code, this will basically invite you to a Telegram group that I created ahead of the talk now. And I will try to demo you live sending funds. So I'll give you a few seconds to scan the QR code and hopefully join the group. I still see a few phones up. Okay, that should be good. So let's see if we can. You never get a good demo without something not working. This is on the screen there, but this is not on the screen there. So this was, of course, working when we checked an hour ago. If it doesn't work, never mind. I'll send you the funds, and I'll do the demo at least. If you're in the group, you will see what is happening. No? No? Well, if it doesn't work, never mind. Anyway, I see that a lot of people have joined the group, so this is really cool. We'll try to send you, even if the demo is not working, we'll send you each one star to actually get you onboarded. So we'll try to send each one of you after the talk a star, but I would have loved to show you actually how the wallet is supposed to be working. So let's give it a try anyway. If you are in the group, look at the group. You won't see what's happening on my phone, but at least you will see how the bot works. So I'm basically asking the bot to send up. First I will do something easy and I will pick, so first of all I will pick someone that already has a wallet. That's a bit cheating, but I will send the stack to my co-founder Itamar. I'm calling the bot. The bot is basically saying, okay, I got a transaction. You don't see it, but I actually got a notification on my Telegram to see that I had a transaction to confirm. So I go to the confirmation. I tap on the button. Of course, I need to do Face ID. And that's it. I confirm the transfer. So it took me 2 seconds, and that should send one stack to Itamar. It's good now? You could, see, now we see it. Okay. I still have a minute left, so let's do another try. So let me do that again. For this time, you see the flow, up, Argent wallet, send, one, Stark. And for example, I can send to Antoine. See, okay, now you see my phone, so you can see the flow. I do the confirmation. I confirm the transfer. This is a way too slow, but anyway, Antoine got the fund. And you see that the bot is actually letting you know letting me know that it works. So now we'll try to send to someone that doesn't have a wallet, that doesn't even know what this bot is. I will pick an address randomly. I don't know who Carl Adler is, but Carl, you're getting a Stark. No, not Carl, because Carl, something is weird. Gauthier, okay. I just picked Gauthier, okay. So now Gauthier doesn't even know what blockchain is, doesn't even know what crypto is. So this time, compared to sending to Itamar and Antoine, you see that the wallet is actually telling me that Gauthier is very new to blockchain. And so what will happen is that we will send him a claim gift. So I will first create the gift. So that means in one transaction, I'm deploying this escrow account. I'm transferring the fund that I want to send to Gauthier, plus some extra to cover transaction fees. And I apologize for the slowness. This should be much faster. But first of all, let's hope that it will work as expected. That's it. Up and see. Now this escrow has been created. The funds are on the escrow. And Gauthier, I don't know who Gauthier is. Can you raise your hand? Gauthier, you should have received a DM from me with the link. And if you click on it, that should basically onboard you to the wallet. Ooh, Gauthier is anon. Never mind. Don't worry, Gauthier. We won't say who you are. But anyway, I hope I've convinced you that we can actually build an amazing wallet that's great for Telegram mini apps and for casual gaming. We can really build a wallet that's invisible to the user and let them basically experiment Telegram mini apps. But we can also use this wallet, I think, to really onboard 1 billion users, going from zero to a full funded wallet in one click, which I personally think is very, very cool. Thank you. I don't know if you have time for a couple of questions or if there are questions. And if the question is, why didn't you pick me, I won't answer. Sorry? And for those who are really, really interested, there's actually a workshop that will be given by Gerald right after this talk in the workshop room, where he will really show you how you can build with the SDK. So if you are interested and want to know more, please go there.
Yeah. How confident are you that Telegram is fine with you building this type of app and diverging blockchain users from Tron and bringing them to Starknet?
That's honestly a very good question. First, I want to say that Telegram is known for kind of being open and focusing on privacy. So I think it would not be good for them on PR if they were to refuse us. If you look at even for the Ton ecosystem, they are relatively open. For example, they have their own wallet, but they welcome other people building their wallet. There's actually a few products, as I mentioned, on Solana. There's also a wallet on Near. So I really believe that actually Telegram is very open for that. Of course, if suddenly we manage to get these 1 billion users and they all start using our wallet on Ethereum, will they still be happy? I honestly don't know. But I do believe that Telegram has always positioned themselves as being, first of all, open to crypto, but also open to people doing what they want with Telegram. Yeah.
Hello. I saw that you are also building an SDK, you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So how do you incentivize developers to integrate your SDK? Will you, for example, launch your own token also?
So at the moment, the answer is no. I think how do we incentivize developers to use the SDK? I would say two things. First of all, it's the only SDK that gets you a blockchain that scales with full native account abstraction, so that can really rely on session keys and all these features. People are talking about these features. We've been using them in production for quite a while in Starknet. So I do believe that if you're a developer and you want to build a great Telegram mini app, actually your SDK is probably the best solution if you want your users to have a true non-custodial wallet. So I do believe that that's the answer, is that we hope developers will come because this is the best solution for them to build a Web3 game today. I also believe that if there's an ecosystem of dApps that are building on our SDK, that means that users have, they have one account and they can take that account from one game to the other. So you can start to create that platform or that network effect between a different game, which I also think can incentivize developers to come to and build with our SDK.
Thanks, Julien. Really good talk. A quick question from me. How do you derive the recipient's address when you're sending to a Telegram user without a wallet?
So as you've seen, we use the Telegram username. So actually, when you create this escrow is controlled by the key that you generated locally, but it's actually not tied to the user. Anybody with the private key could claim the fund. But the thing is, you only share the private key in a private channel with your friend. So he's the only one to have the key and that can claim it. And as soon as he claims it, the funds are transferred. So it's not like it's tied to him on chain. It's just that he's the only one to have the private key, and so it is the only one that can claim. And again, that's why, because the user is logged in. So if you have the Telegram handle, you can actually send him a private message. So that's the way it works. Yeah. By the way, if you want to experiment that flow, we've done a native integration on Telegram, but we actually have a dApp on Starknet called gift.argent.xyz where you can connect any wallet, and you can basically send a claim link to anyone, whether they have or they don't have a wallet. So the protocol is broader than what we've done on Telegram. Telegram is just a native integration within our wallet. I think that's it. No more question? Oh, last one.
If I already have Argent wallet in the Argent app, can I somehow connect it to the Telegram bot?
That's a very good question. The answer for now is no. Of course, this is something that will come at some point because we believe it makes sense, but for the moment, it's a separate wallet. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.